Yeah. Since 2019, we've been building mindset and purpose for real estate agents, entrepreneurs, leaders, people becoming more than they were yesterday.
Monday through Friday we rise. We win the morning, we win the mind. Faith over fear, pressure into purpose. Confidence built through the work. Something good is gonna happen to me. Something good is gonna happen to me. I don't need all the answers, I just need belief. Becoming who I'm called to be. Making impact bigger than me. God first, doubt steps back. When it gets heavy, we figure it out. You're not here by accident. You're part of the story. Stepping strong, stepping faith. Let's get your mindset right.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning. What is happening, everybody? How we living? How we doing? Good morning. Brock, I like that color of that shirt, man. Looking fly today.
Thanks, brother. I knew you were on today, so I was like, I gotta wear something sharp for gym. I gotta wear something real good for gym.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Good to see you, Michelle, Chet, Sarah, Crystal, David, Paul, James, John. We got the whole crew today. Let's go. More people joining. I love it, man. I love it. This is I was telling a friend of mine, he just moved here from Boston. We were talking about some values. We were talking about kind of my core philosophy on life. And he's like, dude, what are you doing tomorrow morning? He's like, you're waking up early, you're doing a morning show at 7:15 on Central Time. Like, why? It's like, man, you've got to see the people on the call in the morning, dude. I get fired up. I get out of this call and I'm like, okay, all right. I need to be better. I need to grow. Who am I calling? What am I doing? Who am I helping? Who am I helping today? We also talked yesterday a little bit about networking and sales and clients. And one of the things that I've been saying, Brock, for a couple years now, probably 4, and I know we've talked about this, is whenever you're connecting with someone, whenever you're building a relationship, whenever you are engaging in a conversation or an invitation to utilize your services, one of the things that I always come back to is asking somebody, what do you need right now? What do you need? Transitioning that value to show up, to support, to serve. It's a very simple question, but allows the openness to build deep human connection, right? It allows the openness for someone to give them the stage to think about what they need and make an ask, right? I mean, how amazing is it when someone in your life comes up to you and says, "What do you need right now? How can I help?" And in a lot of those conversations, I believe I've witnessed, I've experienced that allows you to go deeper, to understand the struggle, understand the necessity of where they want to go, how they want to get there, and how you can provide some impact through that process. So I just want to share a couple things that was on my mind before I jump in today. Letting some more people come in. Hey, Fran, Rachel, Wendy. We're going to talk about something that's on my heart. It's a foundation to who I am. And before we do that, for anybody that's new on the call, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Jim Morris. I am so grateful to be a 6-time business owner. I've bought companies, I've sold companies. Guess what, y'all? I've failed companies. And I'm still standing. I'm still here. I'm still alive. What I do today is I do a lot of keynote speaking. I'm the CEO of Human Touch Publishing and Human Touch Marketing. And I help leaders just like you. I help folks just like you on this call create impact. I also throw a ton of events. We've got 7 minutes of impact coming up. David was one of our speakers a couple months ago and absolutely rocked the stage. So thank you, David. James also helps us out, invites amazing people, helps me with some AV stuff. So that's what I do. We've got another event coming up. I'm really excited about it. It is one of those things where on event day, I wake up and I'm like, okay, I have to monitor the cups of coffee. Do I get an IV drip? What am I doing today? Because we're bringing the impact. And I want to do that for you right now. So, my signature keynote speech. I spoke to a city yesterday. I've got another town I'm speaking to about it. I'm working with a speaker bureau right now. Is around this I-4 philosophy. All 4 words start with I, so I might as well give these to you so you can write them down in your notes, because I'm going to ask you some questions. We're going to integrate a little bit, and I want to tell you a couple small short stories about why they're so important to me, how I've utilized these words, and how I show up with them in my back pocket, front pocket, in the top of my hat. I mean, these things are ingrained in me. So the first word, obviously, is impact. And when I start to think about impact, it's such a big word. A lot of people think of impact and they're like, well, how am I making impact today? How am I making impact tomorrow? How am I showing up and providing this level of value? And one of the things that I've understood over time is, the best question as a business owner when it comes to impact is asking this one question to yourself. And a lot of people that I engage with, that I talk to, whether it's from stage, whether it's in the green room with other speakers, whether it's after I speak and people come up to me and we talk about this framework, the one question that I ask everybody, and not a lot of people have it on the tip of their tongue, so I know it's impactful, pun intended, to ask this question. If your business, your company disappeared tomorrow, is there a risk to your industry? Say you're a real estate agent and you stop being a real estate agent tomorrow. Is there a risk to your industry? Is there a risk to your community? Is there a risk to your clients? Is there a risk to your friends? If you stopped doing what you do and your company disappeared, is the world better off? Sit on that for a second. If you're looking at impact from an internal perspective, do I feel like I'm impacting others? Do I feel like I'm doing enough? Then I want you to reverse that. And that's why I think this question is so important. Does your community suffer if you don't show up and do what you do? If your business disappears? And a lot of these conversations that I have with people, whether it's in LA, Beverly Hills, Texas, Florida, Boston, Nashville, Charlotte, a lot of the times people say, I don't know. And what I would advise you to start to think about today, to get your mindset in a different place, to engage in a level of motivation that really enhances the opportunity to impact others, is what are you doing to ensure that you're showing up at the highest level where positive impact is occurring? So that way, if your company, if your job, whatever you're doing disappears, you know that what you were doing yesterday, a month ago, 3 months ago did leave a lasting impact. Now, when I think about my life and my transition through different industries, different businesses, helping different ideal customers, there was a period of time where I wasn't creating impact. There's a period of time where my first company, Birdie's Frozen Beverages, an organic beverage company, was not leaving a positive impact. Now, we went from a glass of frozen strawberry lemonade that had about that much sugar in it compared to that glass, right? And we were servicing corporate companies that just wanted to fill a gap. We were doing a lot of events. We were working with restaurants, fast food. And I sat down one day and I'm like, if this goes away, people are going to be probably better. We're not helping them from a health perspective. We're selling to fast food chains that I don't even eat at. We are, what's the, I'm leaving. And I know a lot of people on here are in the real estate industry and you're selling a house, you're helping a family, but there's a lot of real estate agents. There's a lot of competitors in every industry. If you lead with impact, if you focus on this first I word and you start to ask yourself, what's the negative effect if I don't show up tomorrow, if I quit, if I pivot, it's really going to put your perspective in place to ensure that you are providing a positive impact. Now, that's impact. So the first I word. Let's talk about one of my favorite words, integrity. Now, in any business, you're showing up, you're providing for your clients, you're doing the right thing, you're crushing the game, your sales are increasing month over month, you're meeting more people. But are you doing it in a way that creates lifetime value and referrals? When you look and you read in any business book, every single million, 10 million, 100 million, billion-dollar company talks about the lifetime value of a customer, the repeat customer. The customer that has such a great experience that they give you referrals, referrals that you don't even need to ask for. Can you put a 5 in the chat if you want a referral that you don't even need to ask for? Do y'all like referrals? I like referrals. I like no acquisition cost of a new client. I like no marketing, no ads, none of that to get more revenue in my business, right? We should be building a business of integrity. Integrity to the point where we show up, we go over the top, we absolutely crush it for our clients, our customers, and our prospects, our leads, in a way where we can say, I gave my best, I went above and beyond, I showed up. You know, when I think about integrity and I think about the growth of a business and the lifetime value, I think about this one thing. The easiest sale in business is selling something to someone that's already purchased from you. Would you guys agree with that? Right? You don't have to go through the whole proposal. They've already got validation that you do what you say. Integrity. So when I think about the growth of a business, when I think about the success of so many entrepreneurs, so many business owners, so many realtors, so many people all over the world, I think about integrity, our second I. They did what they said they were going to do. They gave it their all. They showed up in such a way that they started to get referrals. They started to get free marketing, right? How great, Christian, is it when you do such a good job for a client that you don't even have to ask them to do a customer review? You don't even have to send them the Google link because you made a commitment when you pitched them. You made a commitment when you sent a proposal, and you had integrity through the process. And guess what, folks? Since I started talking about integrity, integrity is going to come at you, especially if you are a business owner, additionally in your personal life, multiple times a day. And when that phone rings, are you going to do the thing you said? Are you going to send the report on time? Are you going to market the house the same way that you put in the proposal? Are you going to spend the ad spend on it? Are you going to put it in the Facebook groups? Are you going to reach out to every single realtor in your database? Are you going to door knock the 200 houses around the listing? Are you going to circle prospect and engage in conversations? Are you going to go to networking events and tell people that the home is for sale in this specific neighborhood? That's integrity. Integrity is the through line to this I-4 framework. These 4 I words that are going to enhance your business, they're going to push your business, they're going to increase your sales. And guess what, folks? You know how good it is when you put your head on that pillow at night, when you show up with integrity? You know, someone told me the other day, you don't start your day in the morning and can hit the reset button. You start your day in the morning when you put your head on the pillow the night before. When you put your head on that pillow, did you do what you said you were going to do? Did you help someone in the right moment when they needed it most? What's your core values? What's your mission statement? What's your vision statement? What's your brand identity? I can almost guarantee you that every major corporation has integrity on their boardroom wall. Almost every client, when I ask this question, integrity comes up. Honesty, integrity. But my question to you today, are you living it? Are you doing it? And integrity is the smallest things. And when you don't live in integrity, when you struggle with integrity, there's a ripple effect. And that ripple effect doesn't have a positive impact on the back end. If you have employees, if you have vendors, if you have partners, if you have home inspectors, if you have roofers, landscapers, all these people around you, if you don't show up with integrity, they don't owe you to show up with integrity. I remember when I built the first real estate team back in 2020 with a business partner. And we kept running into these situations around integrity where we had these vendors and I'm like, what is going on? Why is the roofer not show up? Why is the plumber canceling on an inspection? Why is the home inspector 45 minutes late? And I sat back and I thought about it and I said, you know what? We have set a standard where we don't have integrity. My business partner at the time was using 7 different roofing companies. He was, if you were $1 more, he'd cancel the appointment the day before and go with someone new. There was no commitment. There was no integrity to his word. So what we received on the back end was the same exact thing that we were giving out. You want to have a great experience? Give someone a great experience. You want to receive? Give first and show up with a level of integrity. And integrity is the stacking of all these small little things, right? Last week, I came out of a coffee shop and I'm driving to another meeting. I'm like, shit, I got a parking ticket on my windshield. So I'm like, I'll deal with this later, right? I got to go into this meeting.
I know how that is, Jim. I know how that is over there. I had Jim give me a parking ticket in Tennessee.
I had this. So I go to the meeting. I'm like, I'll deal with this later. No big deal. I drive to my next meeting. Still didn't want to look at it, right? I'm like, I go to my next meeting and I'm like, all right, I go to the front of my car and it's not a parking ticket. It's a sticky note. Someone had sideswiped my mirror driving by my car. And they wrote a sticky note and said, I apologize. There's no damage, but here's my cell phone number. Me being me, I texted him. Someone of value, someone, myself speaking, where I value integrity, I reached out and I said, thank you so much. I value integrity. I really appreciate it. There's no damage, but you're a good person. Thank you. And they replied back, hey, thanks so much. You know, I just wanted to let you know this and that. I said, you know what? Let me buy you a cup of coffee on Friday. I sit down to have coffee with this gentleman. Doesn't even know what he looked like. I'm walking into the coffee shop. I'm like, I am the tall dude with a scally cap on. Probably the only person in the coffee shop. Like, I don't even know who I'm meeting with, right? And we end up having an hour and a half conversation. He's interested in us helping him with a book. I'm referring him to another company. He does data analyst work. Someone recently reached out and asked me if I knew someone I trusted because it's sensitive information. And who am I going to refer that human being to who has integrity, who sideswipes my mirror, has no damage, and still leaves a note when someone asks me, do you know a data analyst that I can trust? Because this is a lot of sensitive information. Do you see what happens there when you show up in a world with integrity? It provides opportunity. So let's talk a little bit about the next I word, inspiration. Now, when I think back of my first business, my second business, failing two businesses, what I'm doing today, how I'm showing up, I think about two different types of inspiration. People always want to inspire outward, right? I work with keynote speakers. I'm in green rooms. Everybody talks about, I want to inspire. What about you inspiring yourself? Internal inspiration, right? We're on the Mindset Motivation Show. But when I think of how I used to talk to myself internally, the words that I would say, I would never say to another human being. I was not motivating myself internally. I was not inspiring myself internally to do the things that I wanted to do, to show up the way that I knew I could. So when I think about inspiration, I think about an engagement with yourself in order to provide encouragement to others. An engagement with yourself to provide encouragement to others. Can you put a 10 in the chat if you are someone who is inspiring yourself throughout the week? I think it's something that's extremely important to ensure that we are looking at it internally. We are looking at it in a way where we're not just giving out encouragement, we're providing that medicine to ourselves. And it's super hard, right? A lot of people on this call are in the service industry. They help others. They want to help people come to a level of impact. They want to show up with integrity. They want to encourage others. They want to motivate others. But we often forget that we need to do this internally. My friend, who I just hired to work for me in my company, we had this conversation yesterday where he started to talk a little bit about how he was beating himself up a little bit, right? And he had forgot all the growth that has happened in the first week of being onboarded. The systems, working a script to his own words, understanding our back-end admin portal, working with our CRM, understanding our pipelines, making some calls, going to 4 events, getting 10 phone numbers at those events to follow up, to engage with, to have coffee, to encourage, to impact, to inspire. People reaching out to him on LinkedIn asking if they can get a meeting. And he started to beat himself up a little bit internally. And we had to go through this third eye so he could inspire himself to show up, to reflect, to remember all the positive things that were happening and all the positive things that he's doing throughout the process. And I had to say to him, dude, you've been working with me for 4.5 business days. Sometimes we forget this stuff. Sometimes we find ourselves in different scenarios where we are always looking outward. So my question to you is, what are you going to do today to inspire yourself? What are you going to do today to motivate and reflect on all the things that you've done already this week that are positively impactful to you, to a friend, to a cousin, to a client, to a prospect, to another business owner? I want you to sit on that and think about that as we navigate the last I today. The last I is integrate. Ooh, I like this one. A lot of people talk about taking action. A lot of people talk about, I read this book. I went to this keynote speech. I went to this event. I went to this seminar. I got on today's call. And I've acquired information. I've gotten insights. But if you don't integrate, if you don't take action, then you're never going to turn good information into great information. Good, integrate. You like what I did there? Integrate. Good, integrate. Now, when I think about integration, it comes down to ownership. Are you owning the fact that today you spent 30 minutes with Jim Morris, you drank your coffee, you drove to work, you're at your desk, you spent 30 minutes today to get on this call? Are you going to integrate any of the things that I've shared with you? Throw a 7 in the chat if you're going to make a commitment today to integrate one of these I words into your life. How can you improve the level of impact that you're going to have on others and in your business? How can you enhance your integrity within your business, within your personal life? How can you grow your internal inspiration? And how can you look in the mirror when you're brushing your teeth tonight, before you put your head on the pillow, and say to yourself, I integrated something important that's going to help my clients, that's going to grow my business, that's going to help a friend, a family member? That is my question to you. And if you can take these 4 I words, if you can take these 4 I words and live a life where you're referencing back to them, you're focusing on the small wins, and you're showing up for you and the others around you in your business, in your industry, then I can guarantee you one thing. If your business disappeared, if your business didn't exist tomorrow, you will be impacting people negatively to the point where you are here helping your community, you are here helping your industry, you are here helping others with what you do. You will have positive impact when it comes to you and your organization. The I4 framework: impact, integrity, inspiration, integrate. Go take some action. Think about these things. And I also dropped in the chat my podcast. Check it out. Thank you, Brock. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate the time today. And this has been a major foundation of how I live my life. And it was on my heart, and I want to share it with you all today.
Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Lucas. Appreciate you.
Jim, I love it, man. I love it, brother. Okay, real quick, pick an eye. What eye are you gonna work on? Write it down. I'm doing integrity. I feel like I talk the big game sometimes, Jim, and then when it comes time for me to really dive in deeper, like, oh, I've been really, really trying hard on these videos. I've been really like being purposeful, but there's some times where I have to make my real estate calls, and it's just something else seems just more fun. I don't even know if that's the appropriate word, but just is like, I really don't want to. And then I waste 15 minutes, and I knew what I was doing. It's just I didn't want to do it. But then I'll go tell people, make your calls, everybody make your calls. You need no excuse. Like, I was like, that really ate at me today when you said integrity. And so that's my word, is integrity, of really being purposeful in that. So thank you for your message today, brother.
Thank you, man. I threw something in the chat too for anybody who's still here. Integrity: do the right thing in the right moment when someone needs it most, including yourself. So when I hear that, Brock, you know you need to make the calls. You have to show up and provide integrity for yourself, right? We think about it outbound. We think about, oh, I told Pete I was going to call him tomorrow, and oh, it slipped my mind, and now it's Friday and I forgot to call him. But are you showing up and doing the right thing in the moment that you need it most for yourself? Let's go. Thank you, everybody. Love y'all. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Later.